Gundam.tk presents Real Grade RX-78-2 Gundam. Hey, welcome back everybody. Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs, and I'm here with my final verdict on this Real Grade RX-78-2 Gundam. So first of all, a few bad things. And first of all, this thing is incredibly posable, which is a good thing, but it also means because it has so many moving and movable parts, that whenever you try to move one into position, you're probably going to move something out of position. And of course, this has been happening with recent master grades as well, but I would still rather have something that's too posable as opposed to something that is not posable at all. What I am not a big fan of, though, is parts that are falling off. And already I've had problems with the ankle guards. The waist armor is going to fall off all the time. The thumb is a pain to get the weapons attached into the manipulators, and the shoulders are not put on very well, so a lot of things want to fall off there. So you're going to have to be careful. And I also had problems with these backpack thrusters, just to make sure that those things don't disappear, and you're going to end up having to order them or somehow get your hands on them again. My other complaint? Pretty small, but it's price creep, and you can see there 2,500 yen. The price of this compared to the old high-grade Universal Century Gundam is quite a bit more expensive, and then again it's quite a bit better. So for most of us, that if you're online watching Gundam reviews and videos, etc., you don't mind paying this kind of money because you're happy to get the quality. But I wonder how many people are turned off from buying a kit of this price, and that's something Bandai's going to have to consider because all of their kits are going up and up in price and none of them are coming down. And so far I'm not too crazy with the way the attachment doesn't fit securely into the back, really limiting the aerial poses in some ways. But what about the good things? Well, I can go into a lot of detail on this, but I'm going to start with something very, very simple. And that is the awesome packaging. When you see this thing on the shelf, you're going to be impressed. It just stands out, and the fact little details like the glossy back of the box in black, everything about this just screams quality, which is great. And I think that goes really well with the fact that you're going to get a manual. Again, they sort of overuse that image, but inside the manual you get so much useful information, and the fact that they put it in color, you'll have no difficulties putting this together because it's such a well-designed manual. I would shudder to think of this thing with something like the GPO2 Master Grade's old manual from around the year 2000. Now, in terms of posability, of course, we've got 180-degree bends in both the legs and arms, which is fantastic. I'd like to see a lot more Gundams with that. And the fact that they've got the slide mechanisms, it doesn't leave a lot of exposed inner frame when they do that. I mean, sometimes it shows up on the legs, but overall, that's something still. To have this in a 1/144th kit is incredible overall. I'm very happy with the gold metal stickers, and you can see those here on the back of the legs. They've got the little circles here on the rivets, which I think look great and won't fall off. But the first thing that I noticed when you have this Gundam spin around to the front is the metallic stickers on the elbows and on the vents. And I think that they just look fantastic. I'm just hoping that these ones on the arms stay on over time. The other thing that I was really happy about was the multiple eye stickers. The fact that they give you 3 different choices, and the ones that I put on are the bright shiny gold, really make them stand out. What else do I like? Well, things like the fact that we get 4 beam sabers. They look good, they're big, they're comically oversized in a way, and the fact that we can keep them on the back, put them in the shield, everything is great. And the weapons. The beam rifle looks great. I wasn't crazy about the white parts, but I am actually happy to have a little bit of color differentiation there that they give because they have the white handle, and I think that the Hyper Bazooka looks fantastic, and it even goes into the details with that white stripe along the backpack. The versatile shield, the shield looks good with its multiple colors and the way that you can attach everything on and move it up and down. And the weapon attachment features, the way that the weapons plug into the hand, other than the fact that they tend to knock the thumb off, it's cool that you've got this part built into the Hyper Bazooka here, so you can bend it in when you've got the bazooka on display and bend it out when you want to put it in the manipulator. And because it's longer than a regular peg that attaches weapons into manipulators, you really don't have any problems with anything that seems to want to fall off. And how about this guy? The 1/144th Amuro I don't care about, and it's almost fallen apart as I was taking it off the sprues. But the core fighter is fantastic. The old high-grade Universal Century one was just a big 2-colored block, and because of that you're never going to put it on display unless you're a pro painter who can make it look fantastic. But this thing transforms, but just besides that, I think it looks just so cool by itself, and pretty much anytime I have this Gundam on display, I'm going to have the core fighter out because they give you that core block on the inside, which means you're going to have full stability while this is off on its own, something that is an improvement over the Master Grade version 2.0. The head is another big plus on this, and I always say SD Gundams live and die based on their head sculpt, and I think that this head sculpt is just perfect, and the fact that it's got the varied whites on here, but more importantly, just the little details like the red camera lenses and how well everything fits together, the fact that you have the black vents, the yellow Vulcans, and just everything, and the fact that you don't have to put lines in for the 2 vents on the front of the faceplate. I am so impressed with this head sculpt, and even though the antenna seems a little bit small on its own, I actually think it sort of fits with the overall streamlined shape of this mobile suit. But where does this thing get its final big plus for me? It's just in the fact that as you look all over it, it's not plain white. You have the multiple colors of white, and the fact that they're so well put together, it just adds that air of realisticness to this whole thing that I've never seen in a Gundam before seeing the 1-to-1 Gundam. Anyway, I hope they continue to use these varying colors, and I wonder if it's something that will sneak down into the high-grade Universal Century After War, etc. lines. Because otherwise, buying real grade models is going to be worth it just for that. And almost last but not least, this is a great build. If you are into the engineering of Gundams and saying, wow, I like the way they put this together and this was so impressive, the manual is going to blow you away, but the way that the parts are designed, the way the runners are laid out, pretty much there's nothing that I could complain about the build. Just follow the directions, you'll have no trouble with it, and you will be impressed with almost every step of the way with how much thought and effort Bandai put into designing this kit. What about the realistic look versus the anime look? For people that have been around the site for a long time, you know that I'm always a big fan of things that look exactly like the anime, but in this case, not only am I happy to make an exception, but this makes me sort of not like the anime look at all. The Master Grade version 2.0, which you can see back there, was a fantastic kit in its time, way back a few years ago. But this one just looks so well designed and put together that if there was a Gundam in real life, it wouldn't look like this one. It would look like the new real grade, and I think they did a perfect job with that. Now, is that to say that anime-looking Gundams don't have a place? No. I think that both of these Gundams can coexist side by side, and both can be the pinnacle of both anime realism and real-world realism, if I can get away with saying that. And finally, real grade. Is it as good as a Master Grade? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say yes. Really, what does this Master Grade version 2.0 have on the real grade 1/144th Gundam? And we're only talking about a space of 2 years, which means that this real grade Gundam is better than quite a few of the Master Grades that come early along in the first 100 in the series. And I would say that, of course, outside of the size and the scale, that there's not very much differentiating these two, and I would give the real grade the edge in a lot of ways. So Bandai, if you're looking to create a new line, unlike first grade or mega size model or something that's going to have a lasting impact, I think that you've come along a pretty good formula with the real grade excitement embodied. So now what about the future of the real grade line? It's always fun to speculate with lines like this, and of course we're going to get the Zaku 2, the Char and the green version, and of course Bandai does that pretty much every time, like with Super Hi-Com Pro, etc. That's what they start with, but what I'm curious about is, where will they go after that? I mean, I can see us getting a Mark II. This would look pretty good with these realistic and the multiple colors here. But what about Zeta? Could they build a fully transformable, something that's not a part swapper, in 1/144th size? And would it be too small and finicky? Or anyway, that's something that may come out further down the line. What about getting something like a Unicorn? I think the high-grade Universal Century, the newer ones, they don't need to make real grades of them. So you got to go back to the early HGUC days and see which one of those kits deserve an upgrade. And anyway, the other thing that I'm sure we're going to get is color variations, because if you look at the Master Grade version 2.0 and the Zakus, etc., how many different color variations do we have? And with the Zaku 2s, we have color variations and the actual mobile suit variations, like Johnny Ridden and the Black Tri-Stars, etc. So I'm excited both to see what kind of variations we're going to get, but more important than that, I actually want to see new kits in this line, because to be honest, I'm probably going to buy them all. So finally, this is not going to replace the high-grade UC line, etc. in 1/144th, but I think it is a fantastic supplement to it, and I'm going to have them both happily on my shelves right beside each other, and I hope we get a lot more in the future. So that's it, a long review. Sorry for the wait, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you have already ordered this and are going to be building it yourself. So anyway, as always, let me know what you think of the video here with the comments down below or on my front page, and stay tuned. Lots more reviews coming up. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Robert184, gundam.tk. You know, gundam.tk became a softcore porn channel so gradually that I hardly even noticed. Actually, I think it all started when they showed off my inner frame.